Happy Super Bowl Sunday and happy Valentine's Day. I'm Sister Grace. I just thought I'd share something, give something for Valentine's Day. I hope your team is winning. Me, I'm not really big on football. Now, my daughter, Sarah, she knows all about it. So I started writing. As you can tell, I'm very messy. These are my notes. They are rules to live by. So I'd like to share these with you. Like I said, this is my Valentine's Day gift to you. All right, I might need glasses. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so these are some truths. We have about 60,000 thoughts a day. And our thoughts will determine the direction of our lives as well as the quality of our lives. Let me say that one more time. We have every person, each have about 60,000 thoughts a day. And those thoughts that we have will determine the quality of our lives as well as direction of our lives. That's why it's really, really, really super important, like the Bible says. Oh, sorry. To take every thought captive. You know me, I have to get up in the morning and start right in on the way to the bathroom and with the positivity or I'll be falling apart. All right, I dropped it. Let me go back. All right. Number 2. Now, these are rules to live by. Again, to take every thought captive. Number 2, time with God intimately is necessary to grow spiritually. We don't grow spiritually by osmosis. We have to spend that quiet time with Him, privately, with no one else. Talking to Him, listening to His Word, reading His Word. But we have to have that time with Him each and every day. Me, I have a lot of fixing to do, so I need a lot of time every morning before I go out into the world because I got a lot of work to do. All right, number 3. And like I said, look, I'm very messy. Number 3, oh, Lordy Lord. Yeah. Oh, when we devote ourselves to things that are not our destiny, if we give our energy to things that aren't meant for us, we're gonna miss our destiny. Like if we are spending time with people, places, and things that are absorbing our energy and our time, that aren't meant for us, that aren't growing our soul, because the people and the places and the things that we invest in, we all have the same amount of time. Every single person, whether you're rich or you're poor, you're young or you're old, well, yeah, we all have the same time because no man knows his fate. So, how you invest that is very important. If you're giving it to something that's not meant for you, you're going to miss out on what is meant for you. Okay, number 4. I love this one. No is a complete sentence. I'm going to say it again. No. No is a complete sentence. You know, I always felt like I always had to explain. We don't have to explain. The older I get, the more I realize. And this is something I say to myself, yet this is everyone's truth. I have nothing to prove, nothing to protect, or no one to impress. Therefore, I needn't explain unless I'm just being polite. All right. 5. Oh, how we dress is the first thing that we say to the world about ourselves. That is our first introduction That is our first thing that we say before we open our mouth. You know, like I said, I was at a Super Bowl party tonight, and you see, I live in a little humble they call it a studio, but it's really a bachelor place in LA, but a lot more than some have. But anyhow, and I'm leaving, and I had sat my purse somewhere, and I'm looking for my purse, and the guy, it was all really good people. So and the guy said the doorman said that something about me being rich, and I chuckled because I said, no, I'm not rich. He goes, well, you sure look it. And well, I am rich in a way. I said, I'm rich in spirit. So anyhow, but what I was saying, that's the first thing that is the first thing that we say to the world. So I'm telling my grandson, I have a teenage grandson, I'm always telling him, you know, like Jordan Peterson says this. And my son is going to see Jordan Peterson in like 9 days. I'm jealous, but not in a bad way. You know, my son and I, we were looking that up. Today we Googled it to see what was the word for jealousy when it wasn't a bad jealousy, when you were happy for someone, but you just wish that you were doing it too. There is no word in the English language for that. So do you know what that tells me? That tells me that is so foreign. To be happy for someone else, for what we would like when somebody gets something that we want. There is no word that my son could find. I haven't looked, but he looked in the English language for that, because that's what I'm feeling. Well, anyhow, Jordan Peterson tells men, he suggests to men, stop dressing like a 10-year-old as an adult. So I told my son, I said, when you go, I said, wear a suit, you know. And me, I've always dressed a certain way. So, you know, they say dress for the life you want, not the life you have. That's an important one. Okay, number 7. In order to get where we want to go, we must take the right roads. If you're on the wrong roads, doing the wrong things, hanging with the wrong people, going to the wrong places, investing all your time in Netflix for hours upon hours, just, you know, or whatever it is, but, you know, not in you, not investing in your dreams and yourself, you're not going to get to where you want to go. You got to take the right road. And by the right road, that means spending time with the right people. Number 1, yourself. Spending time with yourself. And preferably, if you can, with people who are smarter than you, people who have gone before you, people who you can look at and learn from and grow, emulate. You know, I can't remember who said it, but they said, if you're the smartest one in the room, you're in the wrong room. Get around people who challenge you. Even if you have to find that on YouTube. Listen to Joe Rogan. Listen to Jordan Peterson. Listen to Mel Robbins. Tony Robbins. There's some good people out there. Charles Stanley. Until we abandon yesterday's identities, we won't become who we're meant to be. You know, I should have just probably stuck with this one. Maybe I could erase it and start over. No. But as I said, until we abandon the image of who we in ourselves, of who we thought we were yesterday, we'll never get to who we're supposed to be. Let me see how I wrote that. Sorry. Until we abandon yesterday's identity, we won't become who we were meant to be. You know, how we talk to ourselves is very important. If you put yourself down or if you build yourself up, it's going to show on the outside. What you say on the inside is going to show on the outside. To grow, step out of your comfort zone. And see, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm more comfortable acting. I'm not comfortable being myself and being here. I'm an introverted extrovert. So I'm actually shy and I'm camera shy. I just hide it well because I'm a good actress. But I don't know how to, I get shy in real life. I'm quiet in real life. So getting on here is always stepping out of my comfort zone. Okay. A life without meaning or purpose is empty. A life without meaning or purpose is empty. We all need to have purpose. We all need to have a reason to get up in the morning. And this isn't what I was going to say. I don't know how I get on this stuff. Ooh, almost dropped my water. Actually, I'm probably not going to keep this. I'm just trying to get over my camera shyness. Looking for my lighter. Gonna light my joint. See, if I had someone to talk to. I don't know where I put my lighter. Oh, here it is. Like to actually have a conversation with, then I'm not so like this because I can focus on them. Let me share something beautiful with you. Well, I say beautiful because it's about the Lord. I got so much stuff here. This is a whole book of prayers. Okay. Lord, I pray for wisdom, lest I speak and sound a fool. Lord, I pray for faith, lest I worry over trivial things. May your joy fill me, Lord, as I can sing of your mercy. Lord, I pray, make me humble, lest I become arrogant in myself. Lord, fill me with your peace, so I can witness your peace to others. Lord, I pray for the gift of mercy, as you have been so merciful to me. Lord, I pray for the gift of patience, lest I become anxious over anything. Lord, last but not least, I pray for the gift of love, for it is the greatest of all. For without love, the foreign are but like a barren womb to an expectant mother.
Show your age. Show your body. Show your.
All right. I guess I didn't do so good tonight, huh? Sorry. I've got to be more prepared. I'm more stoned. No. Actually, I don't know. I'm just trying to get over my fear. I'm not going to save this. Oh, this is an old notebook. I mean, a lot of it's in pencil. I was just a little girl when I bent down on my knees, asking God to fill my heart, wash my sins clean. I did not know why. Oh, I hope I don't cry with this. I did not know who he was, only that he loved me, that he was somebody special. Because I prayed, I was now part of his family. As I grew into adolescence, I began to have struggles within. I did not leave God, but began to doubt his love for me. He knew all about me, the secrets I was forced to keep. No, he did not love me. I was pretty sure of that. I was not worthy. My mom could have told you that. I was not mad at him for not loving me. I understood in some ways. After all, I wasn't that great. As I grew into a woman, I talked to him a lot. Sorry. Telling him of the troubles I'd gotten myself in. I would ask for his guidance, then do it my own way, then wonder where God was through my self-inflicted pain. Now I'm fully grown. A lot of things have changed. I still ask for his advice, yet listen more to what he has to say, though I still sometimes complain. I knew that we were related. I learned that in Sunday school. I thought I was a distant relative, but now I know the truth. I am the king's daughter, chosen before my birth, an heir to the majesty, a masterpiece, a rare one of a kind. If you search the world over, you'd never find another me. For the truth I've been holding, even for myself, that I am God's girl. Always was, even when I feared He did not love me. Lord, I love Him. Anybody who gets to my desk can see that. Okay, let's see. Oh God, I wrote this when I was like, oh my Lord, late 20s, I think. I saw a man who was blind. On his face, a smile always shined. A woman scantily dressed. Sorry, let me start over. But for God's grace, I saw a man who was blind. On his face, a smile always shined. A woman who wanted to be a mother desperately, yet her womb was barren, she could not conceive. A man without a home, garbage bags was all he owned. A child all alone without a family on her own. Woman scantily dressed with too much makeup and need a rest. A girl I used to know staggering down the street, reeking of rum and coke. A boy who used to be captain of the football team, snorting up his lost dreams. Some pass by and smugly say, we all have problems, don't look my way. Truth be told, we all have secrets to hold. Any one of them could be you or I. It's by God's grace that we survived. Next time you're out for a stroll and you pass another by who you believe that you could never be, look with your heart, not your eyes. Withhold your judgment. After all, you may be their guide. One kind word could give them hope, a smile opposed to a frown. Who knows? It may even turn your world upside down. I know I can't compete with the Super Bowl. Especially when I don't. Dear God. Okay. Unless it's really private. Oh, did I read it? Kind of scared to, you never know what you just say when it's between you and God and a piece of paper and a pen, and then you decide to get on there and just bare all and be an exhibitionist, kind of sorts of your heart, of your spiritual, of your deepest thoughts. Kind of an exhibitionist. Dear God, what is it you would have me do? Most often I am aware of your desires. Yet like a man playing blind, I close my eyes and stumble into danger. I reach out for what is within my grasp instead of reaching up. At those times, not only am I displeasing to you, but like a drowning man who panics, I pull those around me. I pull those I hang onto down with me. Perhaps the real root of my problem is a lack of faith. And from that, many forms of self-centeredness is derived, selfishness topping the list. If my life were a business, I have been president of the company. The result of my leadership has led me into bankruptcy. I know this truth all too well, yet at times I struggle to let go of the reins. I am in one of those places now, Lord. At times such as these, I justify, I minimize, all the while adjusting my vision to suit my argument. My clouded conscience can see beyond the discolored mist. To know the truth yet not act upon it, I know is but murder to my spirit. Dishonesty lays heavy upon my heart, choking your fragrance out of me. Lord, I pray today, focus my heart upon your will for my life. May I not judge myself harshly. May I not flirt with or tolerate self-indulgent behavior. Please, Lord, supply me with a level of self-honesty equal to yours. Give me the courage to surrender to your will, Lord. Amen. Wow. I don't know what I should read. I have so many of them. Oh, it's my son's. If Jesus came today, would you recognize his face? Would you welcome him with open arms or look down on him and frown? Do you recognize his presence in the homeless and abused, in the junkie and the whore, the lesbian with AIDS? Do you look and say, we don't need your kind, go away? Or do you spread your arms like Jesus did? Let me say that again. Or do you spread your arms like Jesus did? Hold them close to you, letting them feel the love of Christ seeping out of you, praying for each one daily that God's love will see them through. You know, I've been talking for a while now about having a show about Toke Talk with Sister Grace, right? If you ever from gangbangers to grandmothers and porn stars to preachers, giving an inside view through a spiritual lens. Because I believe with all my heart we are here to love, not judge. There's one judge, and he's in heaven. His name is Jesus Christ. That's it. Not me, not you, not anybody because they sit behind a pulpit, or because they drive a certain kind of car, or because they never did this and never did that, or quite frankly, they probably just never really quite got caught. Because if you look in the Bible, it's the people who did that. There's the people who God used. And I just feel, see, I get talking about God, then the fear goes. The fear goes, I guess, when I get talking about him creating nothing in me that it means more to me that I'm more passionate about than my love for the Lord. My gratitude from what he has saved me from. I wish I would have started this like this right now. I tell you, instead of just babbling my jaws with nonsense, but ain't that the way? How much time in life do we spend just a babbling? Well, it's babbling going places where there's the bar room or the drug room or the jail room. But you know what? God can use them all. And he will too if you let him. If you let him. And that don't mean never missing a church service, but you should go to church. Yes, go to church, don't get me wrong. Spend time with him. Get to know him personally. Learn to love yourself so that you can love your neighbor. Because you know what, darling? Whoever's watching, same way you treat others, the same kind of judgment that you lay upon others is the same judgment God's going to lay upon you. He judges us as we judge others. And darling, there ain't one of us worthy of judging anyone. Surely not me. And surely not you. Pretty sure. You know, the time is short for real. And he's coming back. I can't tell you when. He'll come like a thief in the night. But I'm telling you, he's going to separate the boys from the boys from the men, the girls from the women, so to speak. And it's time to take responsibility and take accountability and get to know him. And get to know yourself. Because if you are a Christian, number one, if you're a real, listen to me, if you're a real Christian, if you're from what my interpretation of the Bible says a real Christian is, God is love. He is a God of love. Therefore, you'll be loving people. And that doesn't mean people you want something from, or people who dress a certain way, or drive a certain car, or live in a certain address, or have a certain job. You'd be loving that person that ain't bathed in a year and a half on the street, that stinks of urine, babbles to themselves just as much as you'd be making over Oprah Winfrey or the president or anyone else. Because you know why? He is in every single one of us. And he hides in those people. But his children, as his children, if we're his children, we should seek him in them. You know, I when I put on my Facebook about my idea for my show, one person was negative, some lady who's never said a word in her whole life, and she started talking to me about how smoking marijuana invites demons. And that she started judging me. You know, I think that's why majority of people don't go to church. The church is losing people. It needs less judging, more loving. But don't get me wrong. Going to church is important. But even more important is knowing it yourself, spending time with them. So that when you meet people that maybe don't smell so good, maybe don't look so good, you don't judge them, and that you treat them just as good you would if you met Oprah or anyone else, whoever your hero happens to be. I say Oprah because if you looked around my house, you'd see Oprahs like everywhere. I always say if I could have a mother, it'd be Oprah. I know that sounds silly. I just never really had one. So if I could, it'd be her. But anyhow, my point, I smoked a joint first. So, excuse me. You can tell a tree by its fruit. You don't get oranges from an apple tree. And if you call yourself a Christian, but you're unloving to those who you deem have nothing to offer you, if you're all about taking, but not giving, if your heart is devoid of empathy or love or compassion to your fellow man, regardless of the skin color, regardless of the income level, regardless of the intellectual capacity, you know, whatever it is, regardless of their sexual orientation, regardless of anything, then you're deluding yourself, honey. You're deluding yourself because Christ hides in all these people. You know, and in heaven, there's going to be Baptist and Methodist and people who never went to church and people who never missed a service. And just like in hell, there will be people in hell who never took a drink in their life, who never smoked a cigarette, had premarital sex, said a cuss word, never missed a church service. But they didn't know the Father. They thought they were saved because all they received was either prosperity preaching or too much grace preaching. Because in today's world, everybody wants a God that fits their own personal lifestyle. Oh, okay, this church over here believes this. This is for me. Or so-and-so I heard goes here. No, this is for me. No, there's one God, one truth. One. And he's in each and every one of us. Not one. Not two. No, there's not. And I'm sorry, there are not many paths. Why do I know that? Why do I say that with such sincerity? Number one, John 3:16. Everyone knows that one. But there's many verses. And like I always tell people, if I'm wrong, I'm out nothing. I live a life that I'm proud of. I like the person that God is developing. And he's had to do a lot of developing. But if you're wrong, if you don't have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, and you're wrong, you lose everything. And lately, my heart, sincerely, I was telling my friend that tonight at the Super Bowl game. I'm not game party because she's a Christian too. And I said, my heart has been so heavy lately for the lost. I mean, my heart, I don't know if it's because a lot of people are dying. I've lost a lot of people are passing away. And even if someone isn't kind to me, I don't wish them I don't want them to go to hell. My son said to me, because somebody died recently who had done me a lot of harm. And I was crying. I mean, every time I think about it, it hurts me. And I said, I don't want her to burn. I don't want her to suffer. I mean, I've been begging God to let her in. And my son said, you're more merciful than God, Mama. I said, no, I'm not. God's just more knowledgeable. I don't have all the answers. But I do have a heart for people to know God, for people to know truth and not go to hell. You know, I'm in the entertainment business and I love my job. I mean, it's just like probably like heroin to some people, you know. I mean, I'm a worker anyhow. I love being productive. I think I don't care who you are, everybody should be productive. And I love my work. And one of the last job I had done, right before I went to Maine, so I went to Maine to visit. I can't say what show because you're not allowed to say that stuff. But there was a scene in it. I don't have a TV, so I don't even know what's on. And I have a beautiful computer, but I watch the old stuff. You know, I'm Andy Griffin, Bonanza. I watch Bonanza every single night. I like westerns. I like the old stuff. I've been watching a lot of Maude, Sanford and Sons, like my favorite. Good times. I like the old stuff. So anyhow, at this show, working, and there was this scene, an orgy scene on stage, and I don't want to say too much because I can't say the show, and I don't want to say the wrong thing. It was very grotesque. And the majority of the people were supposed to, and as a Christian, I felt convicted. I told my son, I've been in California all alone for a couple of things. Well, God's work more than anything, but as a successful girl, I've wanted my own TV show. And I love my work. I mean, I love my work. But I'm a Christian, and I can't be part of that kind of stuff. I can't. I mean, I felt sick to my stomach. I felt like that made me feel dirty. Because I know it's wrong, and when you do something that you know is wrong, like I said, somebody tried to bully me because I smoke marijuana. You know what? I'll probably be 93 years old smoking a joint. So you can't bully me. I used to take 15 pills a day, and I don't have anything to explain anyhow. Go judge someone else. But I judge myself because I hold myself accountable. So I guess I don't know how I get down here. But would you pray for me? Because I do have to eat, and I haven't even worked all year. My heart is just convicted. I don't know what to do. It's like my head is like, oh, I don't know what to do. Don't know what to do. But I don't. I mean, I need to work. Actually, like I said, I want my own show. But there won't be any vulgarity on it. Probably a lot of pop. But everyone will have their clothes on. You know, I was saying, like, my fifth rule of life, how we dress is the first thing that says to people, this is who I am. Well, I didn't have any teachers as a kid. I had to teach myself everything I know. My daddy taught me how to tie my shoes on a visit, but that's about it. So, like I said, tonight I'm at the party and everybody thinks I'm rich. I'm not. Yes, I'm rich in spirit. It all depends on how you define rich, just not rich in finances. But that's never been my aim. So, but wherever I go, because I love clothes and I like to dress like a lady and I'm pretty conservative. I mean, this is a lot for me. Um, but this is how I dress now. As a young girl, as a young girl, I had a different idea. I I didn't live with my mom, but I would see my mom get in physical altercations with the police and get arrested and drink a lot and stuff. And I had a lot of alcohol in the house I grew up in. So I thought you grew up and you got drunk and you married abusive men and got beat up and you went to jail and blah blah blah. So anyhow, when I was younger, I drank. And so this, I had my picture taken, and I wasn't getting arrested because I never got in actual real trouble. It was just pretend. And so I had him hold my arms the way that I'd seen my mother do when she got arrested. And I used to be, and I crossed my own face out because I used to hate myself so deeply. I did since I was a little girl. But anyhow, I just want to show you the difference. Here, 14. Now I'll be 56 in a couple of weeks. March 4th, I'll be 56. But 14. Here I am at 14. Bert Snow, God rest his soul. I loved him and his wife Helen. They were my grandparents McCusick's best friends. See, that's why he's smiling. He's supposed to be pretending to be arrested me, but he has a big smile in me. I crossed out my face from self-hatred. And here I am later on at 30 with Governor King. I have one here at Governor Baldacci somewhere too. But I'm just showing you the contrast. But God intervened. I mean, he saved me at 8, but and today, same person. But today, this little girl controlled even this woman because she was so ashamed of the choices that this little girl made. Looking for love in the wrong places, in the wrong faces. Mixing up, looking for daddies in love. Other women would know what I mean. Older men taking advantage of young girls. Naughty, barely a teenager. I got with my husband at 15. So, year after this. But like I said, our clothes, they're up. What I wore back then. Look, I had a shirt on that I'm ashamed to even say what it says. I was telling my girlfriend, one of my longest friends, we've been friends since I was 12, and now I'm a grown ass woman, and I was embarrassed to tell her. And I told her it was actually just the opposite. But back then, this was the 70s, mind you. I was born 66. And so we all wore these shirts. Hers said something about expensive but worth it. That's what hers said. And mine said good but not easy. Truth was just the other way around. I never even a man until my husband. I got abused. I got used, but I don't need to go into it. I was an alcoholic as a little girl. So God uses everything. And there's a lot of bad people out there for pretty little blondes with big boobies, with no mummies or daddies running around. But like I said, a few years later, and here I am, free from the curse of alcoholism. If you ask any of my friends here, they'd say, Grace, don't drink. I have because yes, I've had a glass of wine with dinner before, but I have no desire. I worked but I helped my friend tonight serve wine. So it was her wine and it was her, so, it just looked right for me to have a glass and I didn't even finish it. There for hours. No desire. God took it away. Because God can do anything. God can do anything. If we give him the broken pieces. And like I said, the people God uses is usually the people that the world throws away. Who was it? My son. Oh, that was a gunshot. I sincerely live in hope. I'm not going out. Recently, 2 people were shot. I'm so glad they're okay. I mean, they had things, but I have love in my heart for them. So everybody has 2 sides. Couldn't it? Across my kids, she'll say, no, I'm just kidding. Kind of. Oh, God. Though that was kind of like, yeah, the night they were shot out here. Let's go get some water. I don't know who's on there, but thank you. I mean, I'm wasting people's time. That was another gunshot. See, if I jump, when I jump sometimes it hurts my neck, so I had so many surgeries. You know what I've learned though in life, which I'm grateful for? I'm grateful for so much. Actually, I'm pretty much grateful for everything. Not everything, but pretty much. You know, I mean, I know I've learned that I'm not the judge. I can't judge what is good or bad. I mean, I always tell people, I always return to the cross. And why I still have my hat on. But I always return to the cross. It looked like such a bad, unjustified thing to have Christ on the cross, the King of Kings. Yet it was the greatest gift the world had ever received. It looked like such a bad thing for Paul when he was on the road to Damascus to lose his sight and to then be thrown into prison, to spend all that time. And like I tell people, prison back then is not like prison today. I mean, they're like little 4-foot prisons, so he's all like hunched over. And he was tall. I mean, Paul was a tall guy of his time. You know, he was a good-looking guy. You know, tall and, you know, the Brad Pitt probably kind of guy, but not like Brad Pitt, but, you know, tall like that. Well, anyhow, you know, good looking. But anyhow, and it looked like a bad thing, him in the prisons being beaten and only given enough food to keep him and water to keep him alive, just so they could continue to beat him. But do you know how many people received Christ are in heaven today because Paul was in that, because Paul went through that prison and had the attitude that he had in that prison? And not only then, as you know, Paul wrote more books of the Bible than anybody in the Bible. Therefore, how many people are in heaven, are going to be in heaven because of Paul, this serial killer that seemed unredeemable? I mean, in today's world, I don't care if you own a grocery store and I come up and I'm like, oh, well, this guy just got out of prison. Well, what do you do? Well, he was a serial killer. He wants to take your daughter. He wants a job. No, but that's the people God used. You know, Matthew, tax collector. Where people hated worse than a tax collector, because they not only collect the taxes, but they would add on money onto it. So when they added money, you know what I mean? So that, you know, they'd steal. They were thieves. Nobody hated anybody worse than a tax collector. I mean, those are the type of people. The woman at the well. You know, I mean, Catholics and stuff, they say stuff that wasn't true because Jesus did not have a child, because then he would have had to do it out of wedlock. And your body is the temple of God. He would not have done that because he would then that would have been sin, and he was a pure vessel. He was tempted. But with every temptation that we had, he had, but he sinned not. So he probably loved her out of all the women in the world. And yet, who was she? A woman married 5 times, living with a guy that wasn't even her husband. But that was, scholars all over believe that that was his woman out of all the women in the world. So, don't discredit yourself. Don't discredit yourself. Don't say, geez, well, I went to prison. I'm an alcoholic. I shoot up heroin or whatever you put in there. I'm addicted to my prescription pills. I lost my kids. No matter what it is, I took someone's life. There is no sin so great that God can't use you or that he won't embrace you. Embrace you and just wash it away. Because that's why his son got up on that cross. Not to give you permission to go out and do it again. It's not a grace. It's not, like some churches think, well, this is your grace and now you can just go do it again. No, 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 no. He died on the cross because he knew no man could obey the law perfectly. That's why God came in the flesh and had every temptation, yet sinned not, and died on the cross for us, and went through all that agony and gave his only son and blah, 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 because he knew we couldn't. See, the difference is, like, if you look at King David, okay, you think, some people would say, now, King David is the only man in the Bible that God said, this is a man after my own heart. A man after his own heart? Oh, let's see. He had sex with Bathsheba when she had a husband, got her pregnant, and then killed her husband to hide the sin. I mean, he did so many horrible, horrible things. But he's a man after his own heart. Why would God? How could that be truth? See, this is why I want you to get into the word by yourself. It's exciting, actually. Because when David sinned, when David failed, because he was a man, because he was just a person. And when I use the term man, or with David, it's literal. But I mean, it's just, I mean it with whoever. But he was just a man. He wasn't Christ, so he was fallible. But his heart, he wasn't like, oh, I'll just go say 3 Hail Marys. And no, his heart broke. It broke his heart. He didn't give lip service. He wept. He actually wept when he let God down. He wept. And he didn't go make a spectacle of himself weeping. But he wept. It hurt him to hurt God. And every time we make a selfish choice and think that we're just covered by grace like some churches teach, like pretty much it's okay, keep living the way you're living, keep doing the things you're doing. It's okay, just give us that 20%. Well, number one, they're going to be judged real harshly, because he, and what, like I said, I mean universally, he who's from the pulpit, and this is biblical, it's not my opinion, will be judged much harsher. Teachers are judged much, much harsher. It's one of the reasons when God called me when I was like 32, and at the time I had my own TV show. Life was great, in so many ways. I didn't want to live under a microscope, and I told God no. And then my life went down the toilet because I did it Grace's way, not God's way. I was just like, no, God, you want me to do what? You want me to go share the word for free and not take a dime? What are you, crazy, God? I'm going to live under no microscope. And I know in the Bible, I know how you judge harsher. No, I ain't doing it. And then I went out and lived a little hell for a few months. Paid the price. Paid a heavy price. All the while going to church. Because he's always been my first love, even when I'm a David. And that's what he knows about me. That's what my desk reveals. If you look at my words, I cry. It hurts my heart to let him down. I'm not perfect. I'm a sinner saved by grace. But like David, it hurts my heart to break my Father's heart. I'm going to ask you, and you don't have to answer me, but I'm going to ask you to answer yourself. If you claim the title Christian, does it break your heart to break his heart? And make no mistake, when you talk about that person, that woman, how her dress is too short at church, or that's her third husband or boyfriend or whatever it is, or that guy just got out of jail, or, that person smells, or whatever it is. Let me just say you don't have David's heart. And he had a heart after Christ. And he was a sinner, a murderer. So maybe if you're the biggest criminal watching, maybe you got the biggest call in your life. Because God don't make junk. Doesn't make junk. And he doesn't make mistakes. And he gives his biggest battles to his greatest warriors. As it's all about, Wayne Dyer says this, and it's true. Life is 90% perspective and 10% circumstances. It's all how you look at it. It's not what happens. Like the cross. Like I always tell everybody, here I am in California on my own. And I'm so grateful. Oh, I'm so grateful. I am so grateful. And, but I wouldn't be here had I not had a rare disease called panhypopituitarism, and almost died and spent almost 2 years in bed. And looked like I was 120. I mean, I cried. In slang, it's the aging disease. I mean, I couldn't even brush my teeth, comb my hair, wipe myself when I went to the bathroom. I couldn't lift up my head. I had to be. It was almost 2 years, but I lived. God is good. But my point, that sounds like, oh, you poor thing. All that time in bed, you're 43 to almost 45. You spent in bed on you. My doctor wanted me in a nursing home. I would have died. My son, yes, I had medicine. And, but my son, when I'd start talking about dying and about what I wanted him to have, Mom, we're going to talk about dying, I'm leaving. You want to sit here alone? I don't want to hear about you dying. You're not going to die. He made me look at the positive side of life. He made me be positive. I wasn't perfect overnight. Still aren't. But he helped me to, he showed me what Wayne Dyer said, that attitude. And anyhow, because of that, I got a new life motto. As long as it doesn't kill me, put me in jail, or defile my faith, I'll try it once. Twice if I like that figure out. Twice if I like it. So therefore here I am, all by myself in California. My next thing I'm gonna tackle that I need to tackle is driving. I've been here 6 years. I have a car. I'm just afraid. I have a license. I have the car. I have the license. Even has gas. But I lost my train of thought. Wait a minute. If you're alone this Thanksgiving, see, Thanksgiving's my favorite day of the year. So I always say Thanksgiving. If you're alone this Valentine's Day, if you're single, don't feel sad. Don't feel like you wish you had a him or a her, because you might have a him or a her that you had, and you're really grateful today that you got rid of, right? Why not treat yourself nice? I'm thinking that I'm going to go out, maybe, not definitely, we'll see. But I love this outfit, okay? And it deserves another night out. So I think I'm going to take it. I love this skirt. You can't see the bottom of it, but it's really cute. And I think I'm going to take it out and go to Christopher's, which is out of my price range, and have my one glass of wine for Valentine's Day for myself. Like they say, dress for where you're going, not for where you're at. And how we dress tells the world, says to the world, true or not, who we are. Now, when I was younger, as I showed you in that photo, wherever I put it, I was dressed like a little girl looking for the wrong things in the wrong ways. Looked like a rough, tough little girl that was headed nowhere good fast. Then at 32, I looked successful and confident and competent. Such a vast difference from these two people. But you know what? I was always ashamed of this young girl, just a little girl. But you know what? The choices we make the choices that we know how to make with what we have to work with. If you never baked a cake, I'm gonna bake the best cake in the world from scratch. If you never drove a car, you're not gonna be the best driver the first time behind the wheel. Oh, my point, I got off it again, sorry. About Valentine's Day. If you're alone this Valentine's Day, I'm just getting a joint. I was thinking earlier, I had these rolled. I was thinking someone would be watching and say, "Well, she have a pile of joints there." Better than a pile of cookies. Well, maybe. No, if you're alone, like I said, be nice to yourself. And before you get into that next relationship, learn to love you as much as you ever loved another him or her. And what do I mean by that? Feed yourself well. Like me, if I'm in a relationship, oh man, I love to spoil. I'm old fashioned. I lay out the clothes. My husband would come home just about every night. We'd have a picnic somewhere different, romantic. Hide special little things that he liked, in the drawer for, truffles and stuff. Just I like to spoil. And but do those things if you like that. Do that for you. Do for you like you do for him or her. And realize, don't wonder, is she or he gonna pick me? Is he or she, do they like me? But it's better. Do I like him or her? Do I like them? Do I want to get to the point where, do I want to give my time up? Because time, we all have the same amount of time. We all have 24 hours a day. Every single one of us have the same amount of time. And when we have, whether it be in the wrong job, whatever it is, the wrong group of friends, the wrong love relationship, regardless of what it is, the wrong thing keeps us from the right thing. That's why I'm always trying to clean up my closet, but I am a clothes hound, so I have a lot of clothes. I have so many clothes. Dresses mostly. I love dresses. I was telling my girlfriend today, I said, I was going to Super Bowl party. I said, do you think it's okay if I have this red skirt that I just love, and I've been wanting to wear this outfit and I have this hat, but I don't want to be out of place, but I'm a girly girl. I said, I have 90% dresses. I don't have that many pants. I have mostly in the pants I do have, they're dress pants. I'm just a dressy person. I like to dress up, even if I don't go and leave the house. And she said, yeah. And you know what? That's okay. It may not be who everyone is, but if who you are isn't who everyone is, then congratulations. That means you're more authentic because you're being who you are. If you're not like everybody else, because none of us, we're all just as different as the fingerprints. What is that? I asked nobody to call for a while. How do I do this? Especially right now. I'm just sort of taking a break from the world. I mean, not from this way, but I don't know. It's hard to explain. Well, no, it's not really hard to explain. I just don't want to. I'll say this. Oh, it's going to ring again. You can see it. For some reason, my phone came up again, and I don't know why. Okay, sorry. I don't know what's going on. Is my phone ringing? I don't get it. Sorry. Sorry. My, I thought that, let's see. Oh, the phone came up, I don't know. Lord, you know what I need? I need an editor. But ladies, I really want to say this to ladies. Ladies, the girl doesn't always get the boy, but the girl always gets the boy she believes she deserves. Always. When I was a little girl, when I was that little girl, when I was that little girl, I just wanted a home. I just wanted a family, but I just wanted someone to love me. I'm gonna get off point here. I don't want to get all like that. But you know what? We don't need anybody to complete us because we're already complete. Other people just add to us. They enhance us like an accessory. But we don't need them. Think Oprah needs Stedman? No. He's an accessory. I don't mean that in a bad way. Maybe I'm saying that because my heart's just been, I haven't even dated in years, I've actually seen one guy in 10 years, only one that I've wanted to get to know better. That I did more than I ever did. I looked him right in the eye across the room. That sounds so silly, but I am shy like that. But I looked at him from across the room. And I saw goodness. I saw a heart like mine. I mean, look, that sounds ignorant. That sounds like I'm bragging myself or something. But I mean, I just Yeah, I did though. I saw a heart like my own. I saw a man that loved God, and he was singing rock and roll, and and but I was with, I don't know. It doesn't matter. He's got a girlfriend now. He didn't then, but I couldn't open myself up. Only person, only person, and she's perfect. They're perfect at looking together. I mean, she's every bit as gorgeous as he is. So I think that they're both lucky. She's lucky and he's lucky. Never met her, but he loves her. I'm sure she's wonderful. So, and she's definitely beautiful. I told my son, I said, I look like chopped liver next to her. He's like, no, you don't, Mom. I was like, just because you're my kid. I said, I do. She's so pretty. But my point, I keep saying that, we need to stop settling because it is better to be alone than to settle. And like I said, if you're somewhere that you're not supposed to be, then have you're settling for something else. You're not going to have what you're supposed to have. And honestly, as silly as it sounds, I would rather spend the rest of my life alone than to spend it with someone who didn't love serving humanity and want to make a difference in this world. Because there ain't nothing besides my kids and my grandkids, family. There's not. That's most important to me. So, and somebody who really loves God, and not in a judgy way. My phone. Call. That's I was going to say impossible, but nothing's impossible. God. Oh, I had some people that talked on here. Oh. I don't know who's watching, but I want to thank you. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to keep this. I probably shouldn't. I just always think like I don't know. It's like to get over my fear and stuff, and I always believe if something's God's will, it's God's bill. You don't have to manipulate anything. God will take care of it if it's His will. My phone's being blown up. Right now, for me, for self-love, I have a friend. She probably won't watch this, maybe. Doubtful. Um, I asked for a few days. I said, which was truthful. I'm sort of isolating. I said, I've been sick a lot. I've been sick a real lot. I've barely been out of my house for over a week. And when I've gone out, I've got to ride there and just sat down and done nothing. I ain't gonna bore you and complain. I don't like to complain. I complain too much. So, for my stomach, I've been sick. Not contagious sick. I just something I've had for all my life. And I get bleeding ulcers, blah blah blah. So anyhow, I need to just be alone for a while and just take care of me, not hear anybody else's stress, nobody else's problems, and I just need a few days of seeing what my next move is, what God wants from me next. What God wants. Just to spend my time with God more than anything, and no negative influences, it's too hard on my body. I get sick, I get bleeding ulcers, I get bleeding ulcers. And but everyone doesn't understand when we take care of you. Some people think no is a complete sentence. But there's a lot of people when you say no, especially if they're narcissistic, they'll try to make you nose and make you feel guilty and make you feel like you're a jerk because you're saying no, because not because you're mad at them, but because you need to take care of you. But they're mad. Why? Because if you're narcissistic, you need your dumping ground. You need your food source. Enough of that. I don't want to get off on that. That's negative. But see, this is what certain things and relationships, my phone's getting blown up with it, bring out in me. If you're in relationships, whether it's platonic or romantic or whatever, that drain you, you might ask yourself, what am I doing? Me, I get stuck in that nice girl syndrome, Always want to be the nice girl. After all, I'm Sister Grace. So I get stuck in that nice girl syndrome. And that nice girl syndrome, or nice boy or man, whichever one it is, if you get stuck in that syndrome or that stage, the nice person stage where you're always there for everyone but you'll have no you to give to anybody. And the people that are draining you will simply go on to the next. And when you need filling up, there ain't no filling you up because those people are never there. So be careful who you spend your time with. And remember, you become like the five, we become like the five people we spend the most time with. So if you spend a lot of time with somebody who complains a lot, guess what, honey? You might not notice that, but I guarantee you're becoming a complainer. Because we become like that which we spend the most time with. So why not get on YouTube and spend time with people like Jordan Peterson or Billy Graham or Joe Rogan or Charles Stanley or Mel Robbins or, someone who's going to feed your soul, or me. Someone who's going to help you be a better you. Because I have found that the seed to abundance, gratitude is the seed to abundance. Did you know that? Complaint just brings more of the same. You ever notice that the more you complain, the more things fall apart, and then people say, oh, things happen in threes. No, it's just because you're always complaining and it feels like everything's happening. But when you praise, same thing happens. Same thing happens when you praise. So for me, anyhow, excuse me, I'm gonna try to praise more, complain less, love more, judge less. And not just with society, but starting with me, because we can't give away what we don't have. The way I treat me, when I say me, I'm talking to all of us, is an indication of one day of how, maybe I'm saying that wrong. I think I'm saying that wrong. I do know this. Like, say if you're on a date and you see the person you're with, maybe they're making fun of somebody who's heavy set pumping gas or serving a meal or walking down the street or whatever. And they, make fun of them or say something or treat them, in a bad way or derogatory. Honey, one day that person's going to be that way with you. Especially or homeless. I don't know. For me, I can't stand cruelty. I don't care how beautiful you are. I don't care how perfect the dimensions of your face is, or I don't care about any of it. If you're mean, you're friggin' ugly, baby. You are downright ugly if you're mean. Because there ain't nothing uglier than cruelty, than picking on somebody who's vulnerable and can't defend themselves. Nothing uglier. Well, I get on that, but this is just water for those watching. I'm a water drinker. I just like drinking up a pretty glass. see is my water. You know, I drink a lot of bottled water, which is really bad for you. Yeah, my tap water's nasty. So, but you know, I hope you not. You should really look it up. Bottled water, and certain bottled water is worse than others. But it's actually very unhealthy to drink in the bottle, from the bottle, even probably from a glass, some of it. You're better off if you can afford it to get a filtered system. I don't have one because I can't afford it right now. But if I could, I would. I told my son he should buy one. I think I'm going to call the guy tomorrow and stick him on my son. Because I know a guy that sells them. He wanted me to work for him. I just don't want to sell them. That's not what God called me to do. See, I believe we're all called to do something, and that's not mine. Mine is my nonprofit that I just started, my American Children of Grace. Get off my butt and do it. And my talk show and my writing, my book. To stop being afraid of success, I need to be hypnotized or something though. I think it's because there's somewhere deep inside I don't believe I deserve it. Because, you know, like I said, we're not victims. The only thing we're victim of is our own thoughts. Our own thoughts and our own belief systems. I mean, if something goes bad, I know how to fix it. You give me a bad place to live or an old car or whatever, I know how to fix it. I know how to make something into, I know how to make nothing into something looking like it's something, you know. It's like when I got divorced, I wanted a dog. I wanted a dog so bad. But I was afraid, what if the dog died? I couldn't handle the loss. I thought at the time, like, what if something happened to the dog? I felt like my breath taken away just thinking about the loss of the dog. I mean, I'd still like to have a dog. I couldn't handle it if something happened to it, though. Probably I'll get a dog before a date, though. Because I just ain't ready for that all these years. When I was in Maine, I usually wear a wedding ring, but I lost it at my son's. Probably an omen. I always tell people, you have nothing to prove, nothing to protect, no one to impress. Everything I say it for me too. I don't say it for just the ladies listening or the men listening or whoever's listening. I say it for everyone. You're funny. That's funny. Woody was my ex-husband's nickname. Or something like that. He used to go by Woody. No, so didn't. I won't even say who. That's funny. Oh, okay. I think it's time. It's almost 8 o'clock, so I think it's time for me to get into my PJs and watch Bonanza. Because it's like I watch Bonanza like every night before I go to bed. And I have this book too I gotta curl up with after. It's really good. It's one that I bought off the internet. I bought it like forever ago. But I guess it wasn't God's timing for me to read it because I hadn't read it. And now it's like, it's really awesome. It's really good. It's a lady who's telling her story, and her story is similar to mine. It's funny. She's only 5 feet tall. I'm only 5'1". So we're both little. Well, I'm 5'1.5" when I stand tall. Well, thank you for entertaining me by staying with me while I babbled on and on. I'm sorry if I wasn't all that insightful this time. I am thinking about doing some interviews, so I haven't got the place and all that. So you know what? Tony Robbins would say, everyone has resources. That's what he would say. He'd say, everyone has resources, so use the resources you have. Number one, I may not have a fancy rich apartment, but I do have an apartment. I could do it right there. And use my friggin' my computer screen. I could do that. So, I just make a lot of whatever. I mean, I know it wouldn't be as attractive, but oh well, it'd be real. Just pray the neighbors are quiet when I did it. Oh, thank you so much. I could see a comment there. Thank you so much. What protest were we at together? Woody. Oh, someone was writing, I guess they said they've been following me for some time now, that I guess I've met them at a protest. So thank you. I'm sincerely honored. Thank you. Before I go, there's Susan. I wasn't there. I'm on the other side of the pond. Oh, I was watching online. Oh, well, thank you so much, Woody. I'm honored that you watched. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna try to be more organized in the future. Trying to get over my camera shyness. It's just I get anxiety at first. That's why I smoke. Well, that's not why I smoke. That's why I smoke on camera. Oh, you know what? I should have read this. It's like I got this book. This is one of my favorite books, The Little Match Girl. And somebody bought this for me years ago. But I can't read it to my granddaughter because it's sad. It's just my favorite story. And in it is something my best friend back home made me a long time ago when I was in the hospital. It's just my name in Japanese. But like, I'm so sentimental. It's like it's a piece of paper. Some people might throw it away. But I'm like, I got to get the wrinkles out of it. I got to get a frame for it because I'm a sentimental person. I mean, that to me is priceless. But means more to me than stuff that costs money. Nothing has any value until what we put on it. Diamonds are forever. Diamonds are a girl's best friends. That's a good slogan. They didn't tell you about all the blood diamonds and some kid losing his arm to get the diamond. This girl don't need any diamonds. Take some rubies as long as nobody dies for them. Okay. A friend decades ago got me this book. She wrote, see, and see, my last name is Grace, but I go by my last name. To my new friend Karen, your dedication to those less fortunate is so admirable. I feel blessed to know you. Love, Shirley. Christmas 1995. She bought me this for Christmas. The Little Match Girl. I love this story. I always identified with her, even though it's sad. I want to read it. Why not, right? It was late on a bitterly cold New Year's Eve. The snow was falling. A poor little girl was wandering in the dark, cold streets. She was bareheaded and barefoot. She had, of course, had slippers on when she had left home, but they weren't much good, for they were so huge she had lost. They had been worn by her mother, and they had fell off the poor little girl's feet when she was running across the street to avoid two carriages that were rolling rapidly by. One of the shoes could not be found at all, and the other, see, I read to my granddaughter online. She's only 3 months old. I read to her on the phone, FaceTime. One of the shoes could not be found at all, and the other was picked up by a boy who ran off with it, saying that it would do good for a cradle when he had children of his own. So the poor little girl had walked on with her bare little feet, where there was the red and blue and cold. She carried a quantity of matches in her old apron, and held a packet of them in her hand. Nobody had brought any from her during the long day, and nobody had even given her a copper. The poor little creature was hungry and perishing with cold. I can't believe this is a children's book. It's my favorite, but it makes me embarrassed now that it's my favorite, because it's so sad. The poor little creature was hungry and perishing with cold, and she looked the picture of mercy. The snowflakes fell on her long yellow hair, which curled so prettily around her face, but she paid no attention to that. Lights were shining from every window, and there was the most delicious odor of roast goose in the streets, for it was New Year's Eve. She could not forget that. The illustrations are so nice. Okay. She found a corner where one house projected a little beyond the next one. And here she crouched, drawing up under her feet. But she was colder than ever. She did not dare go home, for she had not sold any matches and had not earned a single penny. Her father would beat her, and besides, it was almost as cold at home as it was out here. They had only the roof over them, and the wind whistled through it although they snuffled up and stuffed at the big cracks with rags and straw. Her little hands were almost stiff with cold. Her little hands were almost stiff with cold. Oh, one little match would do so good. If she only dared, she would pull one out of her pocket and strike it to the wall to warm her fingers. She pulled one out. Shh! How it sputtered and blazed. It burned with a bright, clear flame, and just like a candle when she held it in her hand. Now the lights seemed very strange to her. The little girl fancied that she was sitting in front of a big stove with polished brass feet and handles. There was a splendid fire and blazing in it, warming her so beautifully. But what happened? Oh, this is longer than I realized. Sorry. I should stop reading it. Just as she was stretching out her feet to warm, the flame went out, the stove vanished, and she was left sitting. No, it's too long. Sorry. I didn't realize it was that long. But like I said, I'm a sentimental fool. These are my priceless things. My Mr. Spock from childhood. All right. I'll stop playing. All right. Well, thank you for staying, Woody, and thank you for following me. And I hope you have a happy Valentine's Day, and God bless all. Thank you.